Hey guys, today we're going to be looking quickly at 7.16 and what's going to be changing or what Riot is going to mess with this time. Just to say very quickly, there is going to be some sponsored videos for a new game over the next few months. It's a massive thing for the channel. It's going to help me out a lot. I hope you guys are going to enjoy them and support me, but I know that's not what you sub for. I know I couldn't do this without you, so I've set up a new giveaway for $750 of RP in the description. As long as I can get an RP card for you or gift you, then you can enter. I don't mind what server. I'm just giving back part of what I'm going to earn from the videos as my way of saying thank you, I guess. Now, first of all, something different. The dumbest change of this PvE patch is to Sion this time. He's getting two changes. His W first, the bonus health on an enemy killed is up to 3, and his ultimate max damage is up to 400 to 1200. Not only does it seem like Riot has a proper hard-on for forcing a tank meta, but there must be like one geezer on Riot's balance team whose job it is to just come up with new ways to one-shot and piss off AD carry players. His ultimate kind of speaks for itself, to be honest. 300 extra damage or 1200 total with 80% of your bonus AD on top of it. So if you build AD to cheese, you could probably do like 1500 damage just with your ult. Not only are you going to have this steam train charging at you, but it's going to close to one-shot you, actually. And honestly, I reckon ultimate plus Dustblade auto attack afterwards is going to be a one-shot. His W change is a bit more legit. It's actually awesome though. Like if you get 200 CS, right? Before that would be 400 health, and now that's going to be 600. That's kind of like having 1.5 giant belts extra worth of health. It's about 1600 gold worth of health stats for free. This new buff though is going to give you over half a giant spell, or like about 530 gold worth of health just for free, just like free stats. I think he should be good already, to be honest. Like his W has 12% of his max health as the shield, and he does 14% of the target's max health as well. So he's like a huge tank with decent damage. Now the most underrated change though is to Vi. Actually, her ultimate cooldowns are getting lowered. In an assassin meta, Vi is like the free low counter champion really. In theory, she should be really good in certain teams. Your W has percentage damage, so you can shred tanks, right? Your ultimate is like the ultimate counter to Zed or Talon or something. You point and click, you lock them down so you save your carry and you kill the assassin. She's this weird mix of like damage and kind of tanky, like not really just damage and not really just tanky, which is why she doesn't kind of fit. She might not be broken OP, she might not be really busted, but this change might do more than we think if she can ultimate and gank more maybe. Now we're going to move on to what I would call the bigger changes this patch. I guess these are the ones that I think will actually change things, shift the meta a bit, but remember, the closer we get to Worlds, the less the meta is going to shift a ton. So Caitlyn, first of all, she got pretty boned recently, but they're going to be hitting her Q and her W again. More than anything, it impacts her lane phase and makes that a bit weaker, I think. It's not massive, but it is going to hurt at least, like 20 damage off of a trap and 10% less AD pumped into it as well. Also, your Q does less damage beyond the first target, so you're not going to be pushing waves as hard anymore. That's pretty much the main thing. She is like this super safe AD and a really good neutral, can't really go wrong with pick, I guess. Especially in pro play, right? She's like way too safe though, and I guess this is trying to bring her down a little bit more, at least in the lane phase, so it's not as hard to play against her. This is the only AD carry change, so like in terms of the AD carry meta, it's not going to change a ton, but it probably means that Sivir, Twitch, and Tristana become like the go-to crit champions. Before we had Caitlyn, but now she's going to be like even worse. These guys just get even better in comparison, if that makes sense. So these are going to be the late game crit champions now. So next up, we've got 4 nerfs to the big mid lane meta champions, so we should see a shift at least this patch a little bit. Depending on who you ask and whether that person has recently got obliterated by a Leblanc player or not, Leblanc is either still broken or completely trash. Either way, she is an assassin still who can one-shot you, and she shouldn't really be able to wave clear as well as she can if she is able to do that much damage. That's kind of how they screwed up her rework, I think. Like in my opinion at least, they gave her sick wave clear, which she didn't really have before, so now she has like loads of damage and is an assassin but a lot safer. They're taking 20% off of the already nerf number. It's pretty brutal really, but I guess that puts her eggs in the kill everything and get gold basket. If you're still really good with her, you might be alright, but in my opinion, like the wave clear getting even worse just means it really limits your way to earn gold. This one has been a long time coming though. The lane god champion actually got some nerfs, but to be honest, like I'm not sure if this is going to make a huge difference. Orianna's W damage has been lowered a little bit, and her E shield has also been lowered, so both going down a little bit, her shield a bit more than a W. I guess when her W is used for wave clear, then 10 off is actually like 10 per minion, right? So it does make a bit more of a difference. It'll bring her down a little bit though, which is cool, but probably will not kill the champion. She'll still be really strong in the lane phase. The Syndra change is kind of weird. They're literally just moving 10% from her Q AP ratio into her E. So her all-in combo is the same, but her poke is a little bit weaker. It seems like a good thing, right? But considering Syndra doesn't even really Q you to one-shot combo, maybe it's not going to do anything. Normally, right, they Q behind, they W to throw that forward, and then they use E to stun, and then they ult straight after, right? In that case, if they use that that combo, it's actually a buff to a one-shot. So it's going to be better there, but laning and poke is going to be worse. Syndra's win rate, by the way, is already trashed here. Like, she's really good in a competitive play, which I'm guessing where this is aiming at, but for solo queue, she's actually not doing that well. Finally, though, in my opinion, the biggest meta mid nerf is to Taliyah. This might be the biggest nerf of the whole patch, though. Yes, it is only mana, right? So maybe you think I'm over-exaggerating, but like 30 more rank 5 when you spam that is really harsh. If you use this 10 times, you're now using 300 more mana than you would have before. So I guess like another way to put it, if you use this 5 times in a fight and you run out of mana, you could have used it 7 times before. Those 2 extra spell casts that you would have got, like if you hit all 5 shards both times, that's about 1,000 damage. On worked ground, you'd only fire 1 out, you lose about 400 damage. That is only 5 times as well. Imagine if you actually did use it 10 in a team fight, you'll be losing 4 spell casts, and that would be like up to 2,000 or 800 damage. That kind of shows why messing with mana costs that much can actually seriously wreck champions. On the plus side though, it only really affects you if you don't have a blue buff, I guess, or if you're a twat and you waste your mana. So mid lane meta then might not shift a huge amount, but if anything, this makes like Zed and Talon better now, plus Twisted Fate. So TF shot up last patch, as we all know, and now is probably the best standard safe mid you can actually play, I think. His damage is awesome, he can roam, he earns so much free gold, it is dumb. So we're going to still have these others in the meta, but TF should like outshine them now. They're all pretty even, but Twisted Fate is doing a little bit better, and then these guys get nerfed, but Twisted Fate doesn't. So he's just going to be better in comparison. Finally though, Ancient Coin is actually getting a nerf. I think it's the gold that's the problem, but the mana is getting hit. I guess for healers, like spamming, it will make a bigger difference. So if we think of like Sona, for example, if she runs coin to get the gold, then she can't really spam a heal as much. The support meta is still going to stay, in my opinion, Ardent Sensor Abuse for 716 most likely. Thresh will still be awesome, and maybe Blitz as well to try and shut them down, but it's just too easy to play coin supports. Janna, Sona, Soraka, and Taric are the main abusers. They are way too good at keeping people alive. They just survive and then have huge teamfight impact without really working for it. Playmakers are good and stuff, right? You can do a bit more. You've actually got to work and be proactive to earn your LP though, rather than having like one hand down your pants and press shield like Janna players. Just quickly for the top lane and jungle meta, like these are the ones we haven't covered yet. Top lane is basically still tanks and bruisers like we have now. There aren't actually any major direct changes that will impact the top lane meta, so it's going to be pretty open still. Jarvan and Maokai are most likely still top tier go-to champions, I guess, but then you've got your typical Renekton, Riven, Nasus, Darius, and Jax who are good meta champions. I think Singed, Talon, Tryndamere, and Akali though are definitely underrated this patch. For the jungle meta, we only have small changes, so it's still going to be dominated by tanks, of course, or Duskblade Rush abusers. It's basically a new breed of carry jungler that has been rising up in 7.15. Can you rush a Duskblade before even getting your jungle enchantment? If the answer is yes, mainly Rengar and Kha'Zix that I have seen, then you can just cheese a lot of wins. So now we're going to move on to the other changes, which in my opinion like are going to be the smaller ones that are going to impact the game less. So Cassiopeia is the first one, who maybe could have gone into the other category actually. Like I honestly don't play enough Cassio to really know how big it's going to be, but it seems a bit weird. You gain 5 more damage rank 1 on your E to lose 15 rank 5, and you max this first, so it's a nerf after level 9 on a late game champion. Now the only way this makes sense to me is that they are trying to give her more damage in the lane phase so she can get ahead, and this 15 damage off is kind of to compensate for all the kills she should be getting in lane more. The thing is, like, this is a spammable ability, right? So it could get pretty scary either way, like either a big nerf or a big buff. You at least use it 5 times, I think, in the lane phase, so that's 25 more damage in a fight rank 1, but 75 less damage at level 9 at least, maybe more later when you have to use it more. It seems weird, but maybe she is going to pop off more in the lane phase now, and that would actually make her pretty good. So Fiora's passive move speed from hitting a vital is going to go up a little bit, and that's semi-reverting the change, I guess. Not really, but they're kind of easing up on the nerfs they gave her before. The thing is with Fiora, if they buff her too much, because we're in a tank meta and she's really good at killing tanks, that could get like really scary. Everyone's favorite fish, or not favorite actually, I hate playing against this guy. He's fallen down quite a lot recently, but this might help a little bit. It's only 2 seconds though, on a very long early cooldown though, so I'm not sure if it's really like game changing or going to bring him back that much. Moving on to Gallio, his ultimate cooldown has been increased a little bit, and also the damage reduction on an ally is down a bit. 20 seconds more in his ult early, and 10% less damage reduction on his ally is not massive, but I think the 10% is the thing that's going to suck more for Gallio in solo queue, I guess. I actually don't see much Gallio, so I don't really know if it's going to change that much, but the ultimate thing, I don't think it's going to matter a ton for us. People do not plan that much ahead in solo queue, right? They don't use it off cooldown anyway, so I don't think like having 20 seconds off of it early is going to make that much difference, but it would in pro play. Maokai is getting his sap playing percentage max damage health down a little bit. It's going to be 6 to 8 scaling rather than just 8% at all ranks. Jungle Maokai is going to farm a little bit slower, and I guess top lane won't trade as well either early, but eventually it's going to even out anyway. 2% when it's max health is actually quite a lot, but Maokai is just like a huge crowd control monster. I'm not sure hitting his damage is actually going to make a huge difference. It might slow him down a little bit early, which means he doesn't gank as much, but like, you don't pick Maokai to do damage. The final champion change is to Corki, reducing his base AD by 3. What a huge nerf, right? It's very small, but it's basically aimed at pro play more than anything else, where he's super popular. That is going to wrap up the look at 7.16. As I said, I don't really think the meta is going to shift a ton because we're getting closer to worlds, but some champions are getting moved around at least, so it keeps it interesting. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.